So talk to us a little bit, Rick, about how this match came about in real life, because I know you've told the story before that when you came back, the understanding was you weren't going to wrestle.
Ever. And that was in November, and by January, I was in the at the Royal Rumble against Vince in Atlanta, and I was just shell-shocked because I wasn't ready, if that makes sense. I mean, I was overwhelmed, but I was having that opportunity, but in terms of my self-confidence, I wasn't ready. And so I got through that, and the next thing I know, Hunter walks out to me at Raw about a month later and says, Taker wants to work with you at Mania. I said, what? I mean, I was in shock, right? That he said, yeah, Taker wants to work with you at WrestleMania. And I said, my God. I said, I'm overwhelmed. That's great. But, see, things are different now, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I don't imagine that at this WrestleMania there will be hoes undressing at WrestleMania. The Godfather going in, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's going to happen.
Oh, he had the best locker room in the business.
This looks like a Thursday at the Conradison so far.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, my gosh. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
How great of a guy is Hurricane?
Oh, my God. The best. And I just saw Papa last Saturday at in New York at that signing. He's excited to go in, and here he comes.
Look at there, the American Badass.
Yeah.
Now, how did you like the American Badass version of The Undertaker, Rick?
I like the original Undertaker better, but he pulled this off too. He just said, I got tired of it. And, he likes motorcycles. It didn't change the persona of him. I mean, he didn't change his work or anything. He just, changed the look a little bit, and he was great.
So in storyline here, you're part owner, and I guess you did not want The Undertaker to win, so you interfered in the No Way Out match.
Yep.
He starts threatening you backstage and challenging you to a match, and you just keep pushing it off and saying no. So they start to kind of tease a little bit. There's Arn in the background.
Yeah.
He becomes an integral part to the build.
Oh, Arn was a big part in the match.
Something I just watched this last night for the first time since it happened. There he is attacking Arn.
Mm-hmm.
And in storyline, of course, the idea is Rick won't fight me, so I'm going to beat up his best friend and make him fight me. How great did that look? Big boot, the blood, everything.
Great. No, I'm saying a lot of work went into this angle. And, then he beats up David, my son, too, remember?
Yeah, I had totally forgotten about this until I saw it again.
Yeah, he beat David after
this shot.
Yeah.
Him sitting down, that's incredible.
Yeah. They put a lot of work into this thing. Yeah, I know David was just happy as he could be to be involved.
Look there, you were fired up right there. That's the Ric Flair everybody loves. Everybody loves. It's important to remember, and I know you probably get tired of this, but I love punching the fan. At this point, this is 2002, so you're like, what, 53, 54 years old?
2002, well, I was 59 in 2008, so tell me. I'm not good at math, remember? 13 years in high school. This is a press conference.
Did y'all really film that at Titan Towers?
Yeah. I've told that story. I was at Ashley's volleyball tournament in Indianapolis, and the jet picked me up. I thought it was a joke. I thought it was one of those things where they put a camera in the plane and see what I was going to do with the flight attendants.
That's hilarious.
Hit the truth. And they flew me in and just for this press conference.
And so in storyline here, to kind of catch you up and give you the context, the idea is he is a co-owner with Vince McMahon, and Linda asked, do you have any intention of continuing to pursue this feud with The Undertaker? And Rick said, absolutely. So because they were going to have a match at WrestleMania, he had to relinquish control of the company, and then they would revisit it after WrestleMania. So now Vince is trying to make sure that Rick is done and gone for. So instead of just a traditional match, they made it a street fight to allow, other aspects of violence to be included in the match.
Yeah.
The only time David was featured like this on WWE TV?
What's that?
Was Was this the only time that David was featured on WWE?
Yeah, he had a number of tryouts. When it's easy for me to say that he didn't have a good opponent at tryouts, but I don't know what the deal was there. When David was trying, there was so much talent there then that it was just a different situation. And I just think that he came in at the wrong time because they were just loaded at that point in time.
Yeah,
so.
This WrestleMania card was unbelievable. I mean, The opening match was Van Dam versus William Regal.
Yeah.
That was the opening match.
Yeah. This is cool right here, huh?
This is super cool.
Yeah.
Maybe not the coolest song in the world now, but at the time, Limp Bizkit Rollin' was a really big-time song, and that's what the Undertaker came out to. And it was kind of cool that somebody was using, regular popular music.
I want to make everybody aware on the podcast that he is by far your favorite wrestler to hang out with. Is that accurate?
Yeah, he is way more fun than I ever imagined.
Yeah, and Austin's number 2 after our bout last week. When was that? 2 weeks ago, when you had to drive home to Birmingham and come back, or two. Good Lord,
it was a good time. So I noticed last night when I watched this again for the first time in a long time that Charles was in the ring. Did you specifically request Charles for your big matches when you could get him?
I've never had that kind of stroke. I never requested anybody. I requested Tommy Young when I was with NWA.
Canada is Flair country. How great is that?
Well, I'm doing a Comic-Con there. We'll see how that goes. It's a great market. Got that thing the other night, which you watched with Charlotte and
Roadblock. Yeah,
Natty was just phenomenal. So,
to me, it really went to show that Dave Meltzer wrote about it in the Observer this week that Natalya has to be one of the most underutilized talents on the entire roster.
Did he? He wrote that, yeah. Well, they pitched that she wore the Bret Hart thing, right, and then she the T-shirt with Bret and Owen, and then of course she in Charlotte's promo she mentioned that Maple Leafs hadn't won and won't win a Stanley Cup this year. Because for the first time in I don't know how long, there is nobody from Canada going to the Stanley Cup. Even to the playoffs, not one team. So, yeah, this match, this got off to a real good start. I probably blew up 3 times right in the beginning.
Yeah, it's similar to the Macho Man one. You guys are just brawling right away.
Yeah. But you can see he just sold for me fabulously. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was noticing, the way you're hitting him with some of these punches, he's reacting like you're damn Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
There's a lot of respect there.
No, he's great. I mean, you know how I feel about him personally. Yeah, he's like, he doesn't sell a lot of people like that, period. So I feel very privileged. Actually, every time I worked with him, when I did quite a few house shows with him, it was just phenomenal.
Look at that. Every punch.
Yeah. I just saw him again this week, and his back is driving him crazy with back spasms. So...
Yeah, I don't know if you saw, but this week they released a video of him doing like a 40-inch box jump and then deadlift to 500 pounds.
Yeah, deadlifting 500?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I believe it. In this time frame now?
Yeah, today.
Oh, yeah. Well, let me tell you something. The guy, who can jump over the top rope like that, like he has all those years?
Man, he looks, we hung out with him a few weeks ago in Nashville, and in real life, just, if you didn't know who that was, that is a big, jacked-up dude.
Oh, are you kidding me?
Just in regular street clothes, he looks like a monster.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I would love to have worked with him when I was like 35 or something like that, where I could have really given him a match, but this worked out pretty good. It's hard to explain how bad not having self-confidence can make you feel.
Let's talk about that, because you've kind of hinted at that in the future, that you weren't really feeling like yourself, and I know there's one spot in the match.
I was so nervous before this match, it scared me. I messed up one spot, and he reeled me back. We'll talk about when it comes up. And, he just said, you got it? Here, I think it's right here.
It's right here, yeah.
Yeah.
So did he ask to work with you?
Yes. Yes, he did. I was just thrilled. I never dreamed I would even be in that spot again because when I told him I'd come back, I was never going to wrestle. And then I ended up, which obviously will be part of my legacy, wrestling all those matches. And I missed this one, right? So he comes and gets me, and he goes, hey, kid. He goes, you're going to make it this time. And then the big boot, he goes, I loved it. Here he is, like 35 years old, saying, you got it.
Here goes the replay.
Watch the boot. Boom.
Oh, that was awesome. So, hey, I'm curious. I'm probably not supposed to ask.
Not quite as fast over the top as I used to be.
All of a sudden, he has a scratch on his cheek. Is that from somebody's tape on their finger?
I don't know. Could be. This is where he superplexed me off the top rope here, which got a huge response.
I think this is one of your better matches that I think's maybe just lost. You had so many good ones, but I mean, for this time period, this was a really good match.
I thought it was pretty good. Yeah, I mean, it certainly wasn't. I was thrilled. Are you kidding me? He can really work. I mean, look at him punch. I mean, the guy he's got it all.
There's a lot of talk about Charles on the internet this week about when Neville was hurt in the ring and he didn't notice right away. Was there any talk about that you saw backstage?
I didn't see that injury to Neville, and I saw the match. He did it on a baseball slide. Of all the stuff he does, and has he had to have surgery? Have they said yet?
I'm not sure. I should know that, but
of all the things he does, the acrobatic stuff and all the flips and all that stuff, he did it on a baseball slide and fractured his ankle and his shin. There's JR.
So this is a different time than what we just watched, the last WrestleMania, because there's a lot of blood on this show. So whatever ban was on juice, as they say, at the time was gone by this period. Would that be fair to say?
Yeah. Yeah, I learned my lesson. I wasn't doing anything without asking.
I just realized you wore red in your last WrestleMania and then again here. Was that something... I think you even
Well, my two favorite were red and blue.
Okay.
I mean, I had all kinds of different robes, but I liked red and blue. And then as I got older, I tried to find something that made me look better. And that's why I started wearing black all the time. Black makes you look skinnier.
You don't have to tell a fat guy that. I know that. I got a lot of them.
Boom.
So we were talking a little bit about, your self-confidence issues at the time. And was that mostly just from the WCW time, or?
Yeah, just WCW. They just wore me down, Just if you tell you long enough that nothing's. If they tell you long enough that you're not good at something, sooner or later it's going to sink in a little bit. And I let it get to me. But Mark, if you look at this, Taker really lets me whack him too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Boom.
So by comparison, let's compare, the preparation for this match versus the Randy one. How much of this would you guys have mapped out beforehand compared to Randy's? No,
just that day. He and I and Hayes and Arn. Yeah, Mike was the agent on this match, and Arn, of course, as you'll see later on, comes in here and does what he did was the place blew as loud as I've ever heard a building go.
I watched it last night, and this tells you what a fan I am. When that spot you're talking about happens, I got chill bumps. Like everybody bought it, everybody believed. Oh my God, they did it!
Yeah.
This is the spot you were talking about earlier, I think.
Yeah, this is a long ride down. Right, so let's do something that nobody else is doing tonight.
When was the last time you took one of those at this point? It had to have been a long time, right? I know you took a lot of these in the 80s.
I took a lot of them from Sting, and Steamboat, but when was the last time I did one of these? I was probably with him. Because you don't trust a lot of guys, but to go up on that top rope right there, we're pretty damn high right now. Watch
At
this.
his height, too? Oh,
Yeah.
my gosh.
Boom.
That is a big bump.
Oh, they blew on that.
Did you ever have any sort of major injury from a top rope superplex?
No. Knock on wood.
How
This was cool right here. He wasn't beating me, remember?
Yeah, I love that. Oh, the forearm digging in. That's awesome. I kind of miss the American Badass the more I watch this.
Yeah, see, it was hard not to like the character. At that point in time, he started talking a lot more, too. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Which I think he wanted to do. This is the thing that this movie does right here. It's phenomenal. Oh, I thought he was going to do it off the apron.
He does.
Yeah.
In just a minute.
Yeah. Yeah. He tells me, hold still. I'm dreading this. Here he comes. Okay.
Well, you'd rather take it on your back than on your chest, right?
I don't know. When you weigh 290 pounds, doesn't matter where you take it. We did have a hell of a match here, Jesus.
This was a really stacked card. I mean, the same card had Rock and Hogan.
Oh, man, and that just tore the joint down.
I love the subtle picking your hair up, not taking the pin. The speed of the match is a lot different than what you see on the current show. So at this point, you guys would have probably just laid out a couple of spots and then the finish and then the time, right? Is that how you would go into the match, or was there more planning than that?
No, with he and I, we just talked out there. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I mean, we had an outline, but it's, I had worked with him a lot in the 90s, so we were really familiar with each other.
And so, correct me if I'm wrong, but Charles probably has an earpiece in, and he's getting time cues, right?
Probably, yep. I don't know if they had him that time or they were coming from the announce stand. I'm getting my ass kicked there. I don't know what the hell.
Yeah, let me be super corny. I watched this last night, and
here goes the big rope.
No, you spoil it.
Huh?
You spoil it.
Oh, I'm sorry, but I said you forgot to do the rope thing, because he normally does it early in the match.
Yeah.
They love this.
Yeah,
this is his trademark stuff. To be as big as he is.
It's a big bump for a big.
Yeah, it is. He's a working fool.
I mean, really put that in context. Other guys his height, Kevin Nash and the like. When do you see them
never
take that type of? Yeah, exactly. And that's not crapping on Kevin. It's just saying.
No.
Yeah, what a commitment he had to that. He was really ahead of his time too. I mean, he's wearing UFC style gloves there, and this is 2002.
Yeah.
Would the payoffs for a WrestleMania like this in the middle of the card been reminiscent to what you got at WrestleMania 8, or because WrestleMania 8 was a title match, would that have been significantly higher?
Well, the difference is, remember, this is in Canada, and so I at that time we got paid in Canadian dollars.
Really? I didn't realize that.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually made more money at wrestling Randy than I did in this match.
So on a big show, back when pay-per-view was a thing like this, would you get your WrestleMania payday at the show, or would it be months later once the pay-per-view revenue came in?
A couple after the pay-per-view revenue came in.
Is that normally like a 2 or 3, or how many month turn is that, do you think?
I don't really remember. I'd say a 2-month turnaround.
Okay.
They actually were doing me a favor. I just would have spent it faster. So, this is great.
Something you just don't see anymore. Both guys bleeding like that, and in the middle of the card too.
Yeah. See, he just sold the crap out of stuff for me. That's what got the match over, because nobody thought I could be able to do anything with him.
Right.
But when he let me get him down, he let me get on him really good.
Classic Ric Flair stuff here.
They blew on this.
Right. So back then, we've all heard about the WrestleMania after parties, and I've been privileged enough to go to one with you. What was the atmosphere like after a big WrestleMania like this?
Oh, phenomenal. It was phenomenal. It was absolutely phenomenal. This is one of my favorite parts of working with him. And it's until you've been there and really experienced it with him, because he's selling for me big time right now, but when he lays down, look at the crowd. I mean, it is. Yeah. They never believed I was going to beat him, but when he went down like that.
Oh, and then sitting up.
Yeah, look at
How phenomenal is that?
Yeah.
Who has the worst choke slam to take? Who's hurt the most?
It's not his. He always tells me I take it the worst. He said I'm heavy.
So even in this match, were you so, self-conscious of yourself that you didn't even think in the middle of the match this was a good match, or once you're in the body?
Oh, no, once I got going, I felt like it was okay, but it just, leading up to it, the anxiety of not, of feeling so much, to be in that position, I just had to come through. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You can't be given an opportunity to wrestle this guy and not come through, and I just didn't know whether I had it or not. You know what I mean?
Okay, so we're getting to the really, really cool part of the match.
Boom.
Is that the best spine buster
of all time?
Gave?
They thought I had him.
I did too. So to put it in context for everybody watching, the streak...
He just nails Arn, pounds Arn. It's for the heck of a production.
Arn big. So if Taker beats you here, he goes to 10-0.
Mm-hmm.
So we're kind of in the middle of the streak here. That's Spine Buster.
Hey, tell me Arn Anderson can't work, man.
Oh, he's the best.
Yeah. I don't know who's been beat up more than me and Arn in the history of the business. He's got to earn this.
You guys took big boots like champs, man.
Yeah.
Arn's bleeding, Rick's bleeding, Undertaker's bleeding. Charles should get in on the action.
Yeah.
So I think we're getting close to the finish here.
Yeah, I screwed this up right here because I thought he was going to give me the other one.
Pile driver?
Yeah. Because I wanted the tombstone. And they'd outlawed the tombstone. So I just thought we'd do it anyway because this is his finish. This is what look at him.
So talk us through that. The planned finish was the last ride powerbomb. Mm-hmm. You thought he was going to do a tombstone. He didn't do it. And did you call it right there? It's like tombstone, and he did it?
Yeah. Yeah, I said, just do your tombstone. You know what I mean? Because I didn't get up high enough when he pulled me up.
Yeah.
so it would have looked like shit. So he just did that, and nobody got mad. I mean, I've never worried about him giving that to me, and it looks like it kills you if you look at that back in slow motion.
No, it looked like your head hit on that one.
Yeah,
For real.
yeah. No, he's phenomenal. I can't say enough about him. I know.
It just beat up the rest.
Look at poor Charles. The Charlotte crew just got the shit beat out of him.
That's phenomenal.
I know Arn looked at me and said, "We need a beer for this, man." I walked back to the curtain and Jack Lanza said, "You still got it, you old bastard."
That's great.
Yeah.